Hey, mamas. Welcome to the Motherhood Unfiltered Podcast, where we have honest conversations about motherhood, mental health, and self-care. I am your host, Kim Rich, and thank you for joining me again for another episode of the podcast. All right, let's get into it. So I have my notes here, so if you see me looking down, it's because my brain isn't all that great, and I have a constant running list of things in my mind. And so in order for me to keep them all together, I like to make notes. Okay? All right, so today's episode is about navigating motherhood and finding the balance between work, family, and of course, self care. Okay, so let's get into it. Um, First thing I want to talk about is being able to balance work and family as well as being a mother. We all know that this is a juggling act. You got 99 things you're trying to do. You're trying to please everybody. You're trying to make sure everybody is good. And a lot of times you end up being last on the list when it comes to taking care of yourself. So, the first thing I would say that you need to do when it comes to balancing all of these different hats that moms wear would be to prioritize tasks. Make a list, make notes. Like I said, make notes, make a list, organize things in order of what needs to be done immediately, right away, what is high priority, to the things that you could get to the next day, maybe, or a week down the line. So, prioritizing tasks is going to be key to this motherhood journey to help you to stay organized and keep things afloat. In addition to just being able to prioritize your tasks in your day, it also helps if you prioritize things. It helps you from feeling overwhelmed because a lot of times you will have this list in your head of all these things you feel like you need to do. And because it's in your head, it feels like you need to do them now. Whereas if you make a list, you can kind of see, like, yes, I definitely need to pack lunches for the kids for tomorrow, today, right? But maybe I don't need to wash the sheets today. Maybe I can wash the sheets tomorrow and, flip flop things around. Or maybe I have enough groceries for me to get meals prepped for today. And instead of me thinking that I need to go grocery shopping today, maybe that's something that I can do tomorrow. Okay. So that's a key tip trick for when you're a mom, you're busy, you're working, you own a business, whatever it is that you're doing outside the home, and you're trying to prioritize tasks. Making a list is going to be key for you. It's really going to help you to stay on task, help you to stay focused on what it is that you need to do at a specific time. And in addition to making tasks, I also use the reminders in my cell phone or your calendar or wherever you keep all of your appointments. Reminders definitely help me to remember to do. I use it a lot of time for things that are recurring. So I use tasks list and my reminders to help me to do things that are recurring. For example, I know that every couple of months I want to order the kids new toothbrushes, or they actually have electronic toothbrushes, so I don't necessarily order new toothbrushes, but I order the toothbrush heads. So I have a recurring reminder in my phone that every 2 to 3 months, it's time for me to replace toothbrushes. Unless someone's been sick. If someone's been sick, then I replace them immediately. But generally, the reminder pops up, and I'm like, oh, yeah, let me go ahead and order those from Amazon or whatever. Another thing with prioritizing things like that is if you do shop on Amazon or somewhere where you can get recurring shipments, things like that, you can just set them to auto, and then they'll just deliver them based on whatever schedule it is that you have for them. Another thing with balancing work and family would be setting boundaries. And when I say set boundaries, I mean setting boundaries for what it is when you're working as a mom and what it is when you're doing your job or you're running your business. So if your hours for working your job or 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or whatever they are, that's the time that you have blocked off for you to do those things. Now, when that time ends, unless you have some major project that you know you need to take a little bit extra time to get done before you tend to your household, that's it. Like 4 o'clock, if that's the end of your day, that's the end of your day. And that's kind of been muddied a lot. I think especially with COVID, because a lot of us were working remotely. And so you would work 10, 12 hours, not realizing it because it's convenient, because it's in your house. But you have to unplug from that and you have to step away from that and handle your responsibilities at home. So setting clear boundaries with not only yourself, but also your supervisors. And if you have people that report into you, those people as well, as in, look, these are the days that I work, these are the hours that I'm available, and then this is the time when I'm not available. Please don't call me on Saturday at 10 a.m. I'm not available. Why? My kids have jujitsu. I'm not available. I cannot talk to you at that time. So setting clear boundaries, being honest about those things from the beginning is definitely going to be beneficial for you if you are a working mom running a business, and still trying to take care of home. The third tip is going to be to delegate tasks. Mamas, I know we believe that we are superheroes and we can do anything and everything. Okay, we are Whitney Houston and I'm every woman. That's a lie. It's not true. I am a woman, yes, and most things are in me, but it ain't all in me, okay? And I cannot do it all by myself. So are there things that you can delegate to someone else, whether that be your husband, whether that be your children? My children are getting to the point where we're starting to give them regular chores, whether that be making their beds. My son is learning how to take out the trash. My daughter is also working on learning how to do the dishes, unloading the dishes. My both of our children are learning how to take care of their dog, because it is a family dog. It is not just my dog. It's not my husband's dog. It is a dog that we got from the family. So they are learning that they need to take the dog out to use the bathroom. They need to take the dog out to feed the dog. Our dog is bougie and she's private and she will not eat in front of us. And so she has a space that is designated for her out in our garage. We have fans and all the things that we're supposed to have, but she prefers to eat alone. She doesn't like to eat in front of us, so we make sure that the kids know how to set up the things for the dog to eat her food and things like that. There are also services that you could delegate tasks to. For example, sometimes if we've been traveling and we come back, you know how you come back and you have all this laundry if you haven't traveled somewhere where you have a washer and dryer, and bruh, you have so much laundry. You have your clothes, you have your spouse's clothes, you have kids' clothes, multiple kids' clothes. You have, like, maybe if you travel, you have blankets and stuff like that in the car. You have all of these things that you wouldn't necessarily have in your normal week load of laundry. I send those things to SudShare. SudShare is a service that I found. This is not sponsored at all, but I found them. They are amazing. They literally will come to your house, pick up your laundry, wash everything, and bring it back. Now, I don't send my unmentionables because that's weird, and I think it would be weird for someone else to wash my underclothes. But I will send, like, comforters. I will send, if we have a large amount of clothes that are not our, private, personal things, I will send those things to be washed, because you know what? They can wash those things in a day or two and bring them back all folded and ready for me to either put in the drawers, or sometimes if it's things that I know, okay, I'm going to hang this up, I will drop hangers in my bags. They will hang them for me, and when they bring them back, they will bring them in bags with hangers, and I can toss all that stuff right in my closet or put it away in the drawers. So definitely, when it comes to balancing this journey between being a wife and a working mom, you definitely want to, 1, delegate your tasks, 2, make sure that you are setting boundaries, and 3, prioritize your tasks. The next thing on the that is important that I'm going to talk about probably on every episode is self-care. Making sure that as a working mom, as a wife, as someone who's running a business, whatever your responsibilities are, you are making time for yourself. Make time for yourself to just breathe, relax, release, woosah, whatever it is. Take that extra 5-10 minutes, whatever it is you need, to yourself. Have some quiet time. Drink your cup of tea, drink your coffee, work out, whatever it is you need to do. Make sure that you are taking that time for yourself, even though you're trying to balance working and being a mom. In addition to taking time for yourself, the other thing that you want to do is practice mindfulness. Now, mindfulness is something that I'm working on, have been working on, where I kind of just take some time, sit quietly, 5 to 10 minutes, and meditate, do some deep breathing or some yoga. Whatever it is that you like to do in your quiet time, take that time, pray, read a devotional if that's something that you're into, read your scripture. Take some time to connect with your spiritual self, so that you can feel whole and you can feel like you're ready, rejuvenated. You have whatever it is that you believe in. You have that extra oomph, that faith, that strength that you need to get through the day. That is definitely important for you to take a few minutes for mindfulness. And the third thing that you want to do when it comes to self-care is making sure you're getting adequate sleep. Ooh. The sleep thing, I feel like as moms, sleep, it's like it's one of those things that you get to it when you can, and the reality is the situation is it should not be you get to it when you can. It is necessary. It is a necessity. It is something that your body and your mind needs in order to function properly. So getting adequate rest, getting 7 to 8 hours or as close to that as you can get is important. You need to do it for yourself, you need to do it for your spouse, and you need to do it for your kids so that you can be your best self once you've rested and you have gotten up, you're ready to go for the day, you got that good 7 to 8 hours, you feel better. You can function, your brain isn't foggy because you didn't get enough sleep. And I know sometimes that's hard for us mamas because it's like they go to bed and that's my time when I do a lot of stuff that I need to do because the house is quiet. My husband is an early riser. I'm more of a night person. So generally, sometimes he will fall asleep before me. So that's when I'm like, ooh, let me do all these things that I want to do, or let me wash my hair, or let me, like, sometimes I will use that time and then I will look up and it'll be 1 o'clock in the morning and I haven't gone to bed yet. And 5:30, 6 o'clock comes really quickly when you're laying down at 1 o'clock, because just because you lay down at 1 o'clock doesn't mean that you're going to go to sleep at 1 o'clock. So it is very important that you make sure that you plan to get adequate sleep. You plan to get adequate sleep, and that you are taking care of yourself when it comes to sleeping. So when it comes to self-care, 1, make sure that you're taking time for yourself. 2, practice mindfulness. And 3, most important is make sure you're getting enough sleep. All right. So let's move over to part 3, which I think is also important when it comes to balancing motherhood and being a working mom, and that is finding support. Support is going to come in many forms, but being a mother can be very isolating, especially if you're new, right? So finding support is going to be really important for your well-being, your mental health. So let me give you a couple tips that I feel like are important when it comes to finding support. Number 1, join a support group. So join like a local motherhood support group or something online. Find a community of mothers where you can, 1, find a sense of belonging, and support other moms that can give you some tips, some tricks that they have used, some mom hacks. If you're a new mom, maybe you're having difficulties adjusting from not being a mom at all to now being a mom. Maybe you have baby blues. Maybe you're dealing with your baby is dealing with something that you're not familiar with, colic, or something along those lines. And you really want to find a group of mamas to help you to get through that. It could be breastfeeding. There are a number of things that happen when you start on this motherhood journey. So definitely find a local support group or an online community where you can plug yourself in and you not feel so alone. The next thing that is important when it comes to finding support is asking for help. Ask for help. Do not be ashamed to call the grandmas, the grandpas, the aunties, the uncles, those people who are family friends who, when you were pregnant, say, hey, if you ever need someone to babysit, please call them. Call them. Even if you don't necessarily need someone to babysit, maybe you're just tired of being in the house by yourself. Because if you're a new mom, those first couple of weeks, you're home by yourself. And sometimes if your significant other has to go back to work, they don't necessarily have paternity leave, you are alone. And it can feel lonely. It can feel lonely. I know for me, when we had our son in Maryland, all of our family and friends were there. So we had a lot of visitors and it was really great. However, when we moved to Florida and we had my daughter, we had to plan that. We had to plan for my mother to come and visit, then plan for my in-laws to come and visit, and then hope that friends that we had in the area, because we don't have any family in Florida, would come by. My brother-in-laws came and visited, and so we kind of worked out a schedule that worked for us, where people kind of came and went, and we were never really alone. And that really worked well for me, because I could give baby to a family member or a friend, and I could go take a shower or take a nap, or I could get someone to handle my son while I was dealing with baby. And so that's important. And even when your children are older, asking for help is still going to be important. Sometimes you're not going to be able to take your kid to every football practice. If you're a working mom, sometimes you have a meeting at 5 o'clock and they have practice at 5 o'clock. Sometimes you're not going to be able to pick them up on time, or maybe you need someone to help you with tutoring. Look, being a parent, a lot of people feel like it's all encompassing and you're supposed to be able to teach your child everything on your own, but the reality is that you don't know everything, right? I know a lot of things when it comes to like math, like that was my strong suit, but when it comes to, I don't know, sociology or something like that, maybe my child will need a tutor. Or maybe they're smarter than what I was at that age and they're taking in classes more advanced. And so I can't help them. It's okay to ask for a tutor, ask for help, get someone to come and help you. Hey, if you need help with cleaning your home, find a cleaning service. Let someone come and help you. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And the other part of asking for help is reach out to a therapist or a counselor. Let them provide you with the tools that you need so that you can be able to cope and be able to function in your daily life with these responsibilities as a mom, because being a mom is not easy. It is hard. It is a lot of work. It is a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of thought that goes into being a mom. You have an ever-running list that I feel like, no disrespect to dads, because I believe that dads are amazing, but I feel like moms just have these ever-running lists in our heads of things that need to be done. And it's like everything, literally everything, from the meals to the schedule to something that needs to be fixed in the house that maybe the husband doesn't know about, that you need to tell him about, to get someone to come out, to planning of picking up and dropping off, to school project. I mean, like everything is in the mom's head. The mom's head is like the MacBook, legit. It's always running. There's always something going on, which is why those 7 to 8 hours of sleep is important, because you got to let that mind rest, honey. And the third tip that I feel like is important when it comes to finding support is taking care of your relationships. When I say your relationships, all relationships, from your spouse, the relationships you have with each of your children, because you don't have a relationship with your children. You have an individual relationship with each of your children. That's going to be different. Your family, your friends, your coworkers, all of these things you're going to have to, be intentional and take time about cultivating these relationships. It's so interesting because a few years ago, the church that I go to down here in South Florida, they have what we call our sisterhood nights. They call them amazing. And one night during the sisterhood night, it's all women, all moms, aunties, all come together. And the speaker, I believe, was our pastor, and she talked about being intentional in relationship with your sister friends, with your girlfriends. And it's so true. She gave us some very practical points as far as scheduling time to call your friends, have lunch with them, sending them things in the mail, just letting people know that you're thinking about them. And maybe you can't always be present with them. Maybe you don't live in the same city or state as them, but just letting them know when they cross your mind that you're thinking of them. So whether that is just dropping a text message. Recently, me and one of my best friends have gotten into sending each other audio text messages, because sometimes we just don't have time to sit and type, but we want to let each other know, like, hey, I'm checking in. I'm making sure you're good. I want to know how you're doing. Is there anything that you need? If you're a person that prays, is there something that I can pray for you about? Just checking in, because we're all in different stages of life. We're all experiencing different things on a daily basis. And sometimes it's just nice to get a call that's unexpected from a friend or a family member, just checking in, just saying hello. If you FaceTime, just FaceTime and saying, I just wanted to see your face. I wanted to make sure you were good. All of that is important. So make sure that you're working to maintain your relationships is another key tip when it comes to managing your life as a working mom, as being a wife, if that is one of your responsibilities, all the things. Yeah, so that's this episode. I just want to say that, again, being a mother is challenging. It's a lot of work, but it's also rewarding. But you got to work to find that balance. Prioritize your tasks, delegate things to people if you can, finding support in your family and your friends, getting online help, joining a community, getting a therapist. All of these things are going to be key to you having a successful journey as being a mom and a wife and all the other hats that we wear, and working your job, hey, or running your business, whatever it is that you're doing. If you take time to set these things up in the beginning and you're intentional about feeding each one of these things in your life, you'll be able to grow, you'll be able to thrive, and you'll be able to, hey, maybe help some other moms along the way on this journey. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. Thank you again for tuning in to the Motherhood Unfiltered podcast, where we have honest conversations about motherhood, mental health, and self care. And I will catch you on the next one. Peace, love, and light. Bye, mamas.